Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities and everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. on this 19th day of March, the first day of March Madness. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Let them know what they're in for.
We'll definitely talk some March Madness. We'll get into the headlines. There is some breaking news out of the NBA that we can get into.
Yep.
Plus, we're gonna get into some comedy. We got Natalie Cuomo. My bad. She'll be joining us at 7:30 ahead of her two-night show tomorrow and Saturday down at the Well Comedy Club. Plus, it's Thursday, which means Anthony Jauregui and his open mic show is tonight. He'll be joining us at 8 o'clock, and then we'll get into the financial side of March Madness and the best bets with a professional handicapper. Mr. Bolt Brady will join us at 8:30. You can call or text in anytime throughout the show. If you'd like to go to the Condors Star Wars night Saturday, we've got your tickets. Just call or text in to 661-842-2000.
Who bought that man a Zabel jersey? That was ugly as hell. I'm sorry. We had a Seattle fan walk by, and I could not just it did the eyesore that it was. I couldn't get over it. I'm sorry.
The Super Bowl, Seattle.
Yes, Super
The
Bowl
champs.
champion, Seattle Seahawks. That is true. I have to give them credit for that. At least.
I have a weird feeling that Devon A-Chain is probably going to be headed to Seattle.
It's what everybody keeps saying. I mean, Nick Costas said it yesterday on his show as if he had just broken a story. I'm like, hey, calm down, man. Everybody's been talking about that for weeks. We all know it's a possibility.
I hope it doesn't happen, but I can understand if it does.
Honestly, I could too, but I've also heard out of the camp that they like A-Chan and they don't want him going anywhere. And like you said yesterday, he's 24 years old. Why would you move off of a guy that's that young if you're trying to build a young core? It's we'll see.
I hope not.
I hope not either, but we'll see. And plus, if Miami does move on from someone like A-Chan, at this point, you might as well ship Malik out too, because how is he supposed to be successful with all the stuff you don't give him?
I don't think the plan is for him to be successful this year.
I don't think it is either, if I'm being honest with you.
I've read a lot from the Miami Post and the Miami Herald talking, if he wins 5-6 games, that's a successful season in their eyes.
See, and that's
a rebuild. That is a real
rebuild year. Absolutely. 5 or 6 games will
still be better than the Jets. So suck it.
You know what? That's true. That's absolutely true. Nobody can be as bad as the Jets at this point. But let's start in the world of the NBA because there's a couple stories I wanted to get to, including the breaking news that came out this morning. You've probably heard it on Nick Costas if you've been listening early. But Cade Cunningham apparently has been diagnosed with a collapsed lung. Now, this happened on Tuesday during their last game. He was pulled out early, suspected for back spasms, but never returned. And now we get Shams Charania coming out and saying, yes, he had a collapsed lung and will be out for an extensive period of time. That's a rough way to end the last 15 games of the season if you're the Detroit Pistons. But the positive is that they're hoping that he will be healthy for the first round of the playoffs. So you won't be out of, your star player when you need him the most. But right now, I'm more in the question of how the heck did this even happen? Well, that's the thing, is that with the very little information that we know about this, all we really know is that originally they thought it was back spasms. They gave him a checkup yesterday. He has a collapsed lung. So I hope and pray this isn't something more serious and that they could figure this out and he'll be back for the playoffs. Again, there's 15 games left in the NBA season. The Detroit Pistons have been absolutely red hot all year long. You've heard our guy Snacks on Monday talking up the Detroit Pistons, thinking that could be your team coming out of the East in his eyes. But without Cade Cunningham, that's going to be a tall order for anybody. So hopefully they can get their guy back and be back at 100%. What were your thoughts when you saw this morning?
It's tough. I mean, hopefully, I know they said it's a mild, which I don't know what the difference is with the collapsed lung.
Collapsed lung in general is scary.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the plan is obviously in their hopes that he's back in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Hopefully it is. I mean, because that is a long season, and Detroit is one of those teams, like you just mentioned, Snacks has been riding with.
Number one team in the East.
It is going to be a tough loss. And even if he doesn't come back for the first round, I think Detroit will be fine in the first round. But still, you need your guy. And I mean, the injury bug has been hitting the NBA. We've been talking about it since the beginning of the season. But I saw, Scottie Pippen, Ant is dealing with an injury. Giannis is dealing with an injury again. I mean, it's just a bad time for injuries going into the playoffs.
And I'm glad you brought Giannis's name up. Obviously, the Milwaukee Bucks playoff hopes have been dwindling for the last couple months, really. And it's very unlikely that they actually make it into the playoffs unless they make it into the play-in. But the team is now trying to shelf Giannis as well, saying, we're concerned about your injuries. This is his fifth injury now that he's been dealing with in this one season alone. We all know what's coming up in the offseason. We all know what the plan is right now when it comes to Milwaukee and Giannis. It does not seem like Giannis will be there next season. He will either be leaving as a free agent or they're going to find a deal to ship him out. So Milwaukee has walked up to Giannis and said, hey, man, please just sit for the rest of the year. They're pulling a Max Crosby, essentially. They're looking at him, pleading with him, saying, we want to shelf you for the rest of the year. We don't think we really have a playoff hope right now, and we would rather keep your health good for the long term. And Giannis walked up to him and said, that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm coming back this season and I'm playing. I don't know if that's a good move on Giannis's part, though. I mean, we talked about it when it came to Max. If your meniscus injury is that serious and they have any inkling or hope that you stay long term, they're going to want you healthy. So where is the line, in my opinion, where the players needs to start listening to the front office and the doctors? I know it's your body. You choose what you want to do with it, and nobody knows it better than you. But in all reality, doctors are there to tell you what's good for your health. And if the doctors in the front office are walking up to Giannis saying, you've had 5 injuries this year, can we please just shelf you for the last 15 games and we'll figure out what the future looks like in the offseason? I know these guys are competitors. Nobody wants to sit out when you want to win. Max Crosby, again, was a great example of this because he did not want to sit out those last games for the Raiders. But the meniscus injury, again, if Baltimore is correct, could be way more serious than we thought. So when do these players really need to sit down and start listening to the doctors at the very least and say, okay, maybe for my own health and for the longevity of my career, I should sit out the last 15 games? Because if I'm Giannis, I get the competitive nature. But again, your team's most likely not going to make the playoffs.
But there's a chance, and I think that's the chance that he's willing to take. And you just said it. I think more competitive players like him are gonna, test their bodies, and if they feel like they can play, they're gonna play. And it's a double sword type deal. Like it's gonna hurt him in the free agency pool next year. It could hurt Milwaukee if they're gonna try to get anything out of him. But I think in his eyes, there's still a chance that they could get into a play-in.
True.
And he believes that they're better than they actually are. So I personally think that my real question is, I mean, how the hell did this relationship get so sour so quick? Because, I mean, when we thought Giannis a couple years ago, we immediately thought, I mean, that is one of the homers. He's going to stay with that team. And just in the last 12 to 18 months, it just seemed like it's a toxic relationship, and he doesn't want to be there. The team is willing to trade him. I mean, we would never have thought Milwaukee would even take the calls, but it just happened so damn quick. It's really wild to me.
So it is wild, but at the same time, I am remembering correctly, there were little inklings and seeds throughout his entirety, or at least since they won the championship, I should say, that have been growing into this entire bed of ivy that we're talking about right now, as it were. But I argue, because one of the points you brought up is that it could hurt his free agency if he doesn't play. I think it hurts his free agency if he does, because let's say he does play and he gets hurt again. Then that's really going to hurt your chances of getting a pretty solid contract with somebody. And let's all be honest, it's Giannis. I don't think any team is really going to be shying away from the opportunity of bringing in a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo if they have that opportunity. So realistically, if he plays or if he doesn't play, people are still going to be coming and knocking on the door asking, hey, man, you want to come play for so-and-so? So I don't necessarily
I think it's more of that he just doesn't want to go out that way in Milwaukee.
I think that you're absolutely right there. And again, I think the competitive nature is really what drives a lot of this. But I still say at some point, you got to sit down and listen to the doctor, dude.
I think once they're officially ruled out, he'll be out.
Right. But again,
I mean, that's one of those things, man.
But
All those years in Milwaukee taking a championship, he probably
True.
doesn't want to go out that way.
True, but if it does end that way, like you just said, what if they just up and say, "Nope, we're shutting you down. We don't care what you say." I mean, we're talking about the decaying relationship that is
It'll get
Giannis
worse.
and Milwaukee. At that point, you might as well burn the bridge down.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
And that's another reason why we got in so deep against the deadline is
Right.
maybe they should have traded him.
maybe.
Because we knew then it's probably the last, couple months you're going to have him.
Right.
Might as well get what you can out of him.
Well, and remember, Milwaukee waited to see who would be giving the best draft picks. Like, that's why they really didn't make a move at the trade deadline, is because they're waiting to see what the lottery ends up being and who will have the top picks that they will actually want. So there's still a likelihood here, during the playoffs, if not right afterwards, that we could see a move from Milwaukee shipping him out to somebody else for a lot of draft capital. But that's my point, is that's why Milwaukee wants to shut him down, because they don't want to chance the possibility of him going out there and playing on an injury. What's the worst case scenario? Tearing an Achilles or an ACL. And then now you're absolutely worthless. You can't trade him because he's injured. His contract is going to run out. He doesn't want to stay there. So now Milwaukee gets nothing. And again, I compare it to Max Crosby. It was the same thing with the Raiders. I think the Raiders had in their head at the end of last season, we might need to move some pieces, which means Max might be in play, which means we need to sit his butt down, because if that meniscus injury gets any worse, we're not going to get the 2 first-round draft picks that we want for this guy. So it's a business decision. It's a doctor's decision. But at the same time, I'm thinking longevity as an athlete here. We want you on the court as much as humanly possible. That is true. But we want you on the court healthy. So if I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo, I know you want to play. I know you want to be competitive. And I know you want to end your career with Milwaukee, or your time with Milwaukee, the right way. But as it sits right now, it's just kind of hard to do that. It really is, with the injury that you're dealing with. So I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Love to hear your guys'. 661-842-2000. Do you think Giannis should come back and play? Should Giannis sit the last 15 games for Milwaukee? And honestly, where do you see him going next year? Is he going to be in Milwaukee? Is he going to be in Atlanta? Where is it going to be? New York? What are your guys' thoughts? 661-842-2000. Feel free to chime in at any point in time. Before we get into our March Madness breakdown, because I cannot wait for the games today, you're going to start right after this show with Ohio State and TCU, and then you're going to go all the way until about what, Sparky? 8 o'clock tonight? 9 o'clock tonight?
Probably 10, 11.
Ooh, it's going to be so much basketball. So we will sit and wait to break down those games for you until later on in the show. One of the crazy stories that I cannot wait to see come to fruition, though, if you guys remember this kid from last year, he didn't make the tournament with Indiana State, but he was definitely the biggest talking point. But our guy Robbie Avila's back. He'll be partaking in the tournament. He now plays for St. Louis, and he'll be taking, or I believe they have Georgia first round. It'll be fun to see this guy actually get a chance to play. A lot of people were impressed with the way he played the game of basketball. Very Jokic-like, big guy, loves to facilitate. And I have not been able to see what St. Louis has been able to do this season per se, but a 9 seed for a mid-major is pretty dang impressive. And I'm just really excited to see this guy back in the limelight. It was a lot of fun watching him play basketball last season. And unfortunately, they made the NIL rather than the March Madness tournament. But Robbie still made it fun to watch the NIL. And I believe they won the whole dang shebang last year in Indiana State. I might be wrong on that one, but I know they were very, very successful. Is there any talking points or any stories that you see before we get to the games, my friend, that you've been keeping your eye on?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, besides last night's game with Miami, Ohio, that was the only one I was really watching.
Which, again, we talked about it. They came out swinging. They showed exactly who they are. I mean, shooting, what was it, 29 3-pointers, 33 pointers in the first half. I mean, they showed you exactly what style of basketball they like to play and how it works. And it did work against SMU. Now, again, SMU was without one of their best players in BJ Edwards. And there's a lot of controversy around that right now, because the selection committee made a decision to put SMU in the tournament as a whole because they were under the impression that BJ would be playing. I have my problems with that in a second, and we'll get to that in a second. But Miami of Ohio did impress me last night. I mean, at one point, I believe they were up by 13, 14 points on this team. We're running up and down the court like it was no problem whatsoever. And they were at a size disadvantage the entire time. They're a small team, but they don't turn over the ball well, or they don't turn over the ball a lot, which works well for their offense. And I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie. Everybody coming into this was sitting there thinking, oh, they're not legit. They haven't played anybody. Well, they just beat the bricks off of an ACC team. Are they going to be able to pull it off against Tennessee? We'll find out. But as it sits right now, I think a lot of the doubters now have to shut their mouth until that actually happens. What say you?
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of close games in this first round.
Yes,
And I mean, looking over my I nerded out with a lot of the experts, and I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of close ones in the first round, coming down to some exciting last few minutes of each game. There's also going to be always the big blowouts, which usually happen in the number 1 or number 2 games. But I was also reading that, you know, the 12-5 games are usually the biggest blowouts.
Yes.
When, you know, I was looking at those, because I always have to pick an upset or two here and there, just like anyone else. But I think it's going to be the beginning of these tournaments are going to be a lot closer than what people expect.
I agree. And I'm glad you brought up a 12-5, because one of my actual big upsets this year in the first round will be a 12 taking down a 5. I like McNeese over Vanderbilt. And I know a lot of teams or a lot of people like Vanderbilt because of the way they were playing at the end of the season. But let me just run down some things that I found out about McNeese. They are incredibly fast, incredibly high paced. And last season, they were coming in around the same area and were able to pull off the Cinderella story. No, they are not exactly a great team in terms of what are looking on paper. I think Vanderbilt has a more deep roster, but when you really take into account what Vanderbilt does well, I mean, they typically are a pretty high team in terms of points and offensive efficiency. I grant you, and they're very balanced, but they don't really do well against teams that like to sprint. They like to keep the pace going or very quickly. And that's exactly what this number 12 McNeese team is good at. McNeese has only lost 5 games this year as a whole. And I just have a gut feeling, as I did last year, looking at this team play, the way they play, the style they play, and the coaching that they have, they're good for at least one big win in the March Madness tournament. I like this matchup with them against Vanderbilt. And to be honest with you, that is one of my big upsets of the first round at the very least. But I do agree with Sparky. I think we're going to have a lot of really close games. That St. Louis against Georgia game is going to be very close. I think the two styles that they play really complement each other, which isn't going to be good for a competitive nature, because obviously they're going to have to figure out a way to play uncomfortably. You got to figure out something different that you guys usually have not done that's going to be able to shock this SEC team and pull off a win.
So there's always at least one major name program that gets bounced early.
Yes.
Who do you think that will be this year? It's a packed question.
It is. Well, it depends also what you are looking at in terms of like
top 5.
So a top 5 team, like a team that should be in the race for at least the Final Four.
They're favored to win, and you know,
I got to look back at my bracket
to kind of overlook. Honest. That's what I was trying to do over here. I was like, open my damn bracket.
Because, well, I mean, we talked about this the other day. The discrepancy in these teams nowadays are ridiculous, especially when it comes to the money these guys get paid to play. So it's hard really to sit there and say that any of these Cinderella teams, especially the lower seeds, your 16s, 15s, 14s, I don't see a lot of these guys pulling off a big win in the first round, but I've been shocked before. I mean, full disclosure, Arizona always scares me in the tournament every single year because they come in as this team that's a juggernaut. And then for some reason, a 16 seed just figures out a way to beat them and the way they play. So that team is always a head scratcher to me. But I really don't know if any of these big name teams are going to get bounced early this year. It's just too much of a discrepancy between the level of skill on these rosters nowadays. So it like bounced in maybe the Elite 8, sure. Yeah. But even at that point, is it really surprising anymore?
No.
I think more of
I
what
think
you're
you're right.
asking is like the first round, right?
Yeah, I mean, the first, second,
So
I personally think it's the same. I think with the discrepancy of how much money are put into these programs, but I mean, everyone always talks about the Cinderella stories. We talked about this for the last few days. I don't think it is as realistic as it is expected,
mhm.
and I think we'll find out a lot more info what Bolt is thinking, because Bolt Brady knows a lot more than I would. But usually, I mean, I did the same thing yesterday. Everybody's, even Vegas is jumping on the Duke.
Yep.
It's Duke or nobody else. And I went the
Which
other way with Michigan, but I also, you just brought up Arizona. Arizona makes me nervous. And even picking against them, I'm like,
and
dude, if
well,
anybody can do it, it'd be Arizona.
you
But I
know
just
what
don't do it.
you know what makes me the most nervous about Arizona is when I was filling out my bracket. If you look on the ESPN website right underneath, it shows you what all their pundits take. Vast majority of them took Arizona. That scares the ever living out of me because when everybody's picking one team, as I told you guys the other day, it never, ever, ever happens the way you want it to.
Yeah, and that's how you win, brackets.
Absolutely. So that's honestly why I have seriously considered going back at my bracket and switching some things because I'm sitting here thinking, oh God, Arizona might be out by the Sweet 16.
I hope so.
It would really work out for a
It
lot
would
of
work
people
out
that
for
way.
me.
It really would.
And I mean, we did the same thing with the Super Bowl. I mean, everyone was
Uh,
on New England riding, and
right.
we win Seattle, and it pays off. But back to basketball, I mean, I like a couple other teams. I also was really urging to go with Houston with a crazy
Yes.
upset, because I do like that
I
program. We've
have
seen them in the past few years.
I have Houston in my final four. I
So did
said it
I.
on Monday. It's kind of weird to me. I get that Florida is the national champion coming in, but it's weird to me that the one seed in this South bracket has more losses than the two seed does. And they
Mhm.
are pretty much on par with each other in terms of skill level. I still say that they should have flip flopped those, made Florida the two seed, made Houston the one seed. Regardless, it's going to work in Houston's favor a little bit because the matchups will be
That's what I was just gonna
slightly
say. Those
better.
matchups look better.
But going back to your initial question, now that I have a chance to look at this bracket a little bit better, there was one team that I'm looking at that's a top 5 seed that I'm scared to death is going to get bounced early, and that's Kansas. All of this discrepancy when it comes to Peterson this season, their inability to really play together, and I mean like literally they haven't had the full starting 5 on the court for very long at all. The positive is that you kind of now have two groups of people. The one group who've played the most together are still very good playing together, so they can make something happen to get you out of the first round at least, especially against a team like Cal Baptist. But you still got to figure out how this whole thing is going to work. Are we actually going to see this team at its just best? And I'm not sure if you're going to get that. So that was one team that I was looking at that said maybe. And then the other one, when I was researching and doing a lot of stuff, that I was kind of curious, just looking at statistics and how these two teams would play each other. John Calipari in Arkansas might be in trouble in this first round against Hawaii. I know a lot of people are saying, "Are you nuts?" And don't get me wrong, I could be completely wrong, and John could blow them out of the water. But this, for some reason, this 4-13 matchup just smells to me. There's something about it that I just don't like. And I can break down exactly what that is after the break, but I just there when I was going down the list of games, and I like you, Sparky, I'm always looking for all right, which one of these teams is going to be the one to fall short. I think Alabama's going to fall short. I don't think it's going to be the first round, but the second round, third round, I don't think they're going to have enough. So they'll most likely fall short. But for some reason, I looked at that 4-13 Arkansas Hawaii game and said, there's something about this that just does not smell right. So we'll take a break real quick. We'll get into all that on the other side. Plus, there's a ton more to talk about.
We'll have
And
Natalie Cuomo over after
yes.
the break as well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We have Natalie at 7:30. And at some point, yes, we will talk about Mr. Kevin Mize. We have been avoiding this story for a little bit just because obviously we let Greg Kerr do a lot of the local stuff. He's much better at it than us. But at this point, I mean, we can't ignore this. The former CSUB assistant coach and everything that's going on with him. we have to talk about it a little bit on this show as well. So we'll at some point have to break up the laughs, unfortunately, and we'll talk about something sad here in Bakersfield. But we'll get into that and much more. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Always have to wait for the breakdown. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video live every single morning from 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Feel free to join us on any social media platform, including Instagram and TikTok as well. We got to talk to our first guest of the day. We have a very, very, very funny comedian that's coming right here to Bakersfield, California at the Well Comedy Club this weekend. You may know her from her debut album of Shut Up, You Love It, or potentially if you are an Ink Master fan like myself, you saw her on Ink Master No More Ink on season 16 on Paramount Plus. But without further ado, the very funny Natalie Cuomo. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
No problem at all. First and foremost, we like to get a little bit of a background on your guys' life. What got you into comedy? Who was the one who really inspired you to take the stage?
I was really inspired by like Louis C.K., Sarah Silverman, all the comics that I watched growing up, Craig Ferguson, and my parents are both like really funny people.
Okay, so it's just in the blood for you then. This was in the stars. It was.
It was in the stars. It was in the stars.
Well, that's awesome. So, how did you get started? How long have you been in the game?
I've been in the game like 8 or 9 years, and I got started. I just like had been wanting to do it for a really long time, and like something in me one day, I was like, I'm gonna try this, and I went to an open mic, and I just loved it so much. I went back every single day. And I just like became this addiction where I would just like go to open mics every single day. And yeah, I got hooked.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We have actually our Thursday regular Anthony Howdeggy. He'll be joining us right after you. He actually hosts the our open mic here at the Well Comedy Club here in town. But Burdick mentioned, Ink Master. I've watched every damn episode of Ink Master.
Same.
And the first video I saw with you was your sit down with Ryan Ashley, which was awesome. And I'm tatted all over. I'm trying to find space for more ink. It's one of those addiction things, like you were saying with
Just
comedy.
Don't hit the face. That's all.
Right. I can't do the face.
Seems to be a theme for me.
But
addiction.
I heard in the interview that your first tattoo you actually did yourself. And then, I grew up with music. My dad was a musician. So I grew up around a tattoo shop around the corner. And, I think that was the first thing was music and tattoos. But I mentioned your first tattoo you actually did yourself.
Yeah. Have you given any yourself?
Nah, not yet. I've been thinking about it because like there's certain spots that I'm like I want to touch up.
My buddy did that, and I don't know how you guys can do that. I'd rather have someone doing it for me. I'll sit there and just deal with it. I do not have the patience to do that to myself.
It's not like you want to. You're just like like you would rather someone else do it for you. But like when you're like younger, you don't have an option. You're like,
True.
This is fun.
Well, how was the experience over at Ink Master? I mean, obviously one of my favorites is Ryan Ashley. So sitting down and having to do an interview with Ink Master, that must have been cool.
It was awesome. It was really cool. That's also one of my favorite shows. So I had a great time talking to her, and it was super cool. I love that show. I love tattoos. I feel like they're a big part of me. So it was awesome.
So I know you're in the middle of a huge tour and, stopping in Bakersfield. She'll be here Friday and Saturday for 2 shows. We've got tickets. If you'd like to see the show, text in 661-842-2000. But aside from that, I mean, looking at the tour dates after us, you're in Detroit the following weekend and then big spots in London, Seattle, Las Vegas. This is not your first big tour, but how is the road for a comedian?
It's really, really fun. It's awesome. It does, like, you do get a little tired, but it's really fun. And it's cool because you get to meet people that you never would have met before. And you just form really cool friendships, get to see new places. And it's awesome. You don't sleep. That's all.
That is the growing thing that we are learning here from all the comedians, is that you guys do not sleep very often. I do not envy you whatsoever. I love my sleep. I have to at least get 6-7 hours. But as Sparky just said, you're going to Detroit, you're going to London, you're going to all these big places. What made you come to Bakersfield?
I hear that you guys have a really great comedy club. I want to check it out. I've heard good things about it. I have some friends that have worked that club. So if there's a good comedy club, I want to check it out.
Fantastic. Okay. We love to hear that. And the Well is fantastic. I think you're going to love every bit of it. Dan does a great job. And especially with you guys and like giving you guys the space you need to really get creative right before your shows. I think it's beautiful what he's been doing. Excuse me. We talked a little about you being on Ink Master, but we haven't talked about was that you were one of the finalists for the New York's Funniest competition back in 2024. You were also one of their, keep your eye on comedians as well in 23. How was it going through that and becoming a finalist? Take us through that.
It was cool. I don't love stand-up competitions. I feel like that's not what stand-up's about. But I still had a really good time, like, as being part of the festival. I'm from New York, so I like New York Comedy Festival a lot because it's like, bringing comedy to where I'm from, where I live. But no, it was cool being like with peers that I really respect and doing stand-up with them. I had a great time.
So you just said it right there, and I'm curious what your answer is here. What is comedy to you then?
I think comedy is more about like the shared experience in the room with a bunch of strangers, just like all relating together. And, comedy to me is more about like that live moment with people that, you don't know and connecting with them. It's about like that connection and laughing together. It's not so much about like who's better than the other person.
Right. And that was one thing I wanted to bounce off you because we've seen the comedy world change over the years, especially with the internet and social media. And then there's, certain that are, content creators and aren't really as good on a stage. And I mean, with your huge following, how is the difference between, setting up something for content on social media versus, being on stage in front of a live crowd?
I honestly, for me, it's just like whenever I do a show, I tape my own set and then I like go home and I'll like cut out pieces of the crowd work and post it. So it's not really like I'm thinking about setting it up for content versus a live show. It's kind of the other, like I'll do the live show and then I'll be like, I'll remember like what were the funniest moments and I'll cut them out and I'll use those to sort of like give myself more autonomy over my career.
So, kind of piggybacking off of his question here and extending it a little bit, I know that you also do a little bit of streaming from what I saw on your Instagram. How do you kind of go about that as well? Because I know that's a completely different animal when you're trying to make jokes and there's literally nobody there to laugh at you. You're just kind of going off of what a chat screen shows you.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like you're alone when you're streaming. It feels like you're laughing with people. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but it actually feels like such a community. And it's like where I feel the most like myself. Like, I really love it so much.
Well,
it sounds like, it's just a chat, but it feels like there are people responding to you and not like you're actively like participating with other people.
Right.
Yeah, those reels. If you haven't found, go look up Natalie Cuomo. We'll share her social media on our Instagram. My last question is, I'm also colorblind, I'll just say, because that was one of the reels I was sharing with some family, and that reel on there cracked me up this morning. But, the people coming out this weekend, what can they expect from a show from you?
They can expect some jokes. They can expect some crowd work. But most of all, we're going to have a good time. And that's the most important thing.
That's right. That's right. Go get your tickets. If you don't have them, thewellcomedyclub.com. She's performing Friday at 7:00 as well as Saturday at 7:00.
Absolutely. And then one last question for me, and then we'll let you go. I know you're incredibly busy and probably want to get a nap in before you actually have to set up all your day. But when you started all of this, what was your main goal in all of it? And was there a venue or somewhere that you had to be, or you had to mainline? I know obviously being in New York, everybody has the traditional New York ones, but was there anything outside of those that you just sat there and said, I really want to go perform there?
I don't know. I was kind of just like doing it.
Really?
I don't know. I was just like, this is fun. I want to keep doing it. And then like my goal while I was like just obsessively like performing, I was just like, I want to be able to continue to create opportunities for myself to perform because stand up, it's like it's not like painting where you can just do it if you want to. Like, you have to find an audience in order to practice it. So that was like my goal, to just be able to have an audience so that I can do like what I love to do.
And obviously the New York audience loves you, and you've been able to transfer that to many other cities across the country and now
Everybody loves
across
her.
the seas. But how do you really go about finding that audience in different cities?
Thankfully, like, social media has helped a lot with that.
Okay. So you just throw
And
it
I
out to the fans and say, hey, who wants to come see me today?
try.
Sometimes it's that simple, man. I'm the same way. I run our social media a lot, and a lot of it really is just let the boys know what you think in the comments.
Yeah,
Like, it's
just hit
really
and
that
miss.
simple. It really
Yeah,
is.
we overthink it.
We really do. But I mean, it's awesome to hear that you just have this authentic love for it. And it just seems like you're so just down to earth about everything. We really appreciate your time, and we cannot wait to see you at the Well this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. And again, go follow Natalie on all social media platforms. If you follow us on our social media, we will post it as soon as we can, and you guys can go watch her this weekend. We do have tickets to give away, right, Smart?
We do. We've got
Fantastic.
one more pair for Friday and a couple for Saturday. Get them while you can, because this is going to be a big show. I'm looking forward to it.
And I know we got Condors tickets to give away as well for Saturday.
Star Wars,
so
nice.
If you want Condors tickets, you're going to have to text in 661-842-2000. But if you want the Natalie Cuomo tickets, hit us up on Instagram at the Early Bird Special. You have to like, subscribe, all that type of good stuff. Otherwise, you are not eligible to win these tickets. You have to follow us. You have to do everything. You got to do all of it. We got to take a break, though, and we'll get into the March Madness tournament on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. I want to thank Natalie for joining us. Again, go check out Natalie Cuomo at the Well this weekend. 7 o'clock shows tomorrow and Saturday. So you have no excuse, none whatsoever.
And that content.
She really is great.
She was saying she was colorblind, and someone out in the crowd said, "Oh, he's colorblind too. He's colorblind to red and green." She said, "Oh, you must, really hate Christmas." And she said, "I didn't know I was colorblind until I brought my first boyfriend home, and his name was Jamal, and I never understood why my dad didn't like him."
Oh, Lord. That's awesome.
She is good, though. She is really
fantastic. The one that I laughed at was the when she's staring down one of the audience members and he's too scared to actually say anything.
I like it.
Good. Yeah, that was pretty good. So again, go check out Natalie. She's fantastic. Again, we don't have enough time to really get into everybody's comedy.
If you're driving down California Avenue right now,
yeah,
and you see a guy with multicolored and looks like an emo guy, that is just Anthony. Push him towards the radio station, please.
Oh God, what is going on?
Watch our Instagram reel if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
how to get is key with these.
These AI videos are getting so crazy, dude. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get focused here on March Madness, but
who's your Final Four again?
So my Final Four this year, I have Iowa State, I have Houston, I have Michigan State, and I have Arizona.
Michigan State.
Coach Izzo going to take out Duke in the top. I'm telling you, in the Elite Eight, if it comes down to Duke versus Michigan State, I'm putting my money in Coach Izzo's basket.
I got Duke and Michigan in the championship.
Do you really? Again, that's a safe bet with the discrepancy in money and how these teams are built right now. I would not doubt it.
Follow that money.
But see, here's the thing. I told you guys before we got to talk to Natalie, there was one game that for some reason just don't smell right to me. Arkansas and Hawaii. Again, should be a runaway for Arkansas. Arkansas is one of the most offensively prolific teams in the country. I believe they average about 91 points a game, which is pretty dang impressive, especially since it's John Calipari, who, again, I should have all the trust in the world in because he's one of the best college coaches to grace college basketball. There's something that don't smell right here. There's something about this Hawaii team that makes me feel that the Rainbow Warriors can pull off one big upset. Now, are they going to make it far? Probably not. They'll probably get bounced in round 2. But any Cinderella in round 1 is a good Cinderella, in my opinion. And I would love to see a number 13 take down a number 5. We were just talking about this earlier. Usually the number 5 runs away with this matchup. But there's something about this game. The defense of the Rainbow Warriors, they're tough, they're gritty. And I have a feeling with the way they play and the pace they run the ball at, they're going to make it really slow. They're going to make it really methodical. And Calipari is going to hate that. Because if you've watched Calipari, even back in the John Wall days in Kentucky, he wants to sprint. He wants to go up and down the court, and you can't catch him.
We got a listener that says, I've got Arizona to win it all. First Western team to win it all in a long, long time.
Yes, it is. And honestly, I won't lie to you. So do I. But it's only one of my brackets. I went one with more of a traditional spin, that just going with what the pundits are saying. And then there's one where my heart is in it. Okay. Arizona won the one where the pundits are in. That's why I kept bringing up, like, all the pundits say they're going to win. And that's what makes me feel like I'm wrong.
Because I got one with Michigan and I got one with Houston.
Do you? See, mine is Arizona, and I believe the other one I have Iowa State. I think I took Iowa State in the other one. I like what I see from the Cyclones, man.
My luck, Duke will win it, but
yeah, I mean, that's also true. And I wouldn't be against seeing the Boozer twins win a championship, if I'm being honest.
Boozer in a Bulls uniform again.
Yeah, that could be on the table, especially with how good he's playing. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick, but there are so many good freshmen. And I meant to bring this up yesterday between Boozer, AJ from BYU, AJ Dispenza, I believe is how you say his last name. I apologize if I just butchered that.
That's another team I'm worried about.
BYU is one that I've been told to keep my eye on. My grandpa, who is a massive college football, college basketball lover, he watches it from the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to bed. This is the man that I am a sports lover because of this man. But he looked at me the other day and said, watch BYU. I said, really? You think AJ's that good? He said, yes, he is that good that he will at least get them to the 16. And I was like, that's pretty dang good. Like, you got to be a damn good player, especially as a freshman. But he does lead the entire nation in scoring as a freshman.
Before we get back into some comedy, let's just get this Cal State stuff out the way.
Yeah, let's bump it out because I mean, Anthony will hopefully let us or make us.
Because I'm telling you, I'm hearing even the national shows before us taking shots at Bakersfield again. We're back into the punching bag.
Look, and that's our fault because we've had a string of about 2 or 3 months of national stories that are absolutely ridiculous. And mind you, all of these stories, these people are catching super late because we knew about this stuff almost a year and a half ago.
And they probably knew a year and a half ago before that.
Exactly. But the Kevin Mays situation, he's in court. I believe this is day 3 today. Again, we usually like to leave this to guys like Greg Kerr because Greg's got a lot of connections and information that we do not. And I don't want to feed anybody information that they don't need to know.
Is Ralph covering this?
Very little, but yes, we do talk about it a little bit. He's under the impression that this is an open and shut case and Kevin's going to be going to prison for a very, very long time. If you don't know what the heck we're talking about, former CSUB assistant basketball coach Kevin Mays was arrested last year, if I'm not mistaken, is now in court for a ton of pimping and prostitution, drug charges,
over
child
multiple
pornography.
states.
Yeah, like this guy, over 600 images.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
600. It's gross just saying it out loud of kids. Like, okay. This guy was the assistant basketball coach under Rod Barnes for a long time. Essentially, what he was doing is he had these women that he was peddling across state lines and to different cities, pimping them out to people on top of the child pornography and many other situations. This is not a good man. He's not a good guy. I know people who know this guy, and look, I don't know him personally, nor do I really want to sit down and have a conversation with the dude. But this should not be an indictment on the CSUB basketball program. And I hate that everybody is kind of making it that way. There are connections to Rod Barnes, I realize, because his son was Mays' roommate for a while. I get it. But here's the thing. This should not be an indictment on the basketball program, nor the rest of the sports programs at CSUB. They all do a fantastic job. I covered them for 3 to 4 years, and they really do what they can for their players in whatever facet we can. This is just a really, really ugly story, and I have to agree with Ralph Bailey. They will slap the cuffs on this dude. He will be going to prison for a long time. And if they don't, it's going to be one of the biggest national stories in sports for a while. But
I want to know the news about Ari.
Yeah, that too. I don't have a lot of time to get into it, but we got Anthony Jauregui coming up. Give us about 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's that one this time, brother. Early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Me and Anthony just came to a realization right now that at some point in high school, we played tennis against each other.
Yeah, we did. And I just for the record, I was not good at tennis in high school. I should not be at the Bakersfield Tennis Open.
Are you going?
I just talked to Burdick here about it, and I haven't gone yet, just because I'm a little like it's like going to watch them film a porn. It's like they're doing a lot better than I could ever do. There's no way I could even sit here and
You get
enjoy
some
this.
practice though.
I could get some tips.
Hey, I
You
could
can
do
learn
that.
some things.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm not a 6'4" black guy from France, so
Look, man.
there's some
Well,
things I
I'm
can't
more
do.
impressed. I was looking into the kid that he was telling us about, the 16-year-old. Oh God, I think his name's Andrew Johnson or something of that nature. Andrew
Yeah.
Jackson. Kid's a stud, apparently. He was.
Dude, I went to the races this last weekend, and there was a 15-year-old just
Oh, yeah.
racing with Kevin Harvick. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Oh, but when I do it in the outskirts of Shafter, I get a ticket by
Yeah.
the Border Patrol.
Fuck
Okay.
Shafter. I'm over Shafter right now.
You're over Shafter?
I'm
Why
just
would I-
over it, man. My
What did they
kid
do?
Didn't get his driving pass. Just
You took him
because
to Shafter?
yeah, that's what he
That's
wanted
the,
to do.
that's the trick. You either go to Shafter,
Arvin.
Arvin, or like Lamont. Or
That's what I told him.
something.
I was like, after he texted me, said, "Yeah, he didn't pass this time." I was like, "Take him to Arvin. He'll be fine."
Dude, this
He'll
girl,
pass next time.
this
Yeah.
instructor was just in a mood.
Oh,
I
why?
was
Wonder
like, dude,
why?
we already
Yeah.
knew. We already knew walking in, and she had a hoodie that said "straight out of the DMV."
No way.
And I'm like, dude,
That's doing a little too much.
feel
Yeah.
bad.
You don't see me working at Target wearing a shirt that says
Red
"straight out
circle.
of sales." It's
Yeah.
like that
it
is.
was just I felt bad for the kid because he actually can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're the one who taught him, so I would assume that he can do something.
Well, he hears me all, you know, I can't cuss on the air, but if you ever drive down Coffee in the afternoon, you already know what I'm talking about.
Brother, don't it? Coffee Road, California Avenue, Ming Avenue,
Anywhere really
and
in
Highway
Bakersfield.
99 or Highway 99. Sorry, that's the wrong place. You get what I mean?
I just missed my Challenger because I would say when I was driving the Challenger, I felt like I was in a boat and nobody can hit me.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it
you're
makes
safe.
It does make you feel like you have an ounce of weed in the trunk and you have a gun in your passenger seat.
But see, it also makes the cops think that you have an ounce
Yeah,
in the back of your
and then
truck,
they
and
pull
they're about to arrest you like the Alabama player.
or the Georgia guy. I don't know.
Hey man, until that kid gets exonerated, I get to make jokes.
Well, you got a busy weekend starting.
do.
Well, really starting tonight, all the way up until your busy day on Sunday, which we won't get into. But
Yeah. Check my Instagram for that.
Oh,
the
got a
open mic
colonoscopy.
tonight. How was last week's?
Dude, it was incredible. So that means today's gonna be bad.
Aw.
No, it's usually this wave thing of like 1 week is good, 1 week is bad. I feel like it can never just be awesome. And tonight, I think Fluffy's here, right? Is
Mhm.
Is
Is
Fluffy
that
here?
tonight?
Is it tonight?
I don't know if it's tonight, but I know
sure?
he's coming.
Yeah, no,
to-
I know he's
Big
coming
McGee
soon.
again.
He was here for like a meet and greet last
Yes.
night, so I'm
Okay.
assuming he wouldn't be here if you.
Oh, he loves this community, man.
Does he?
Oh yeah, he comes back every
Does
time
he?
he can.
Yeah, I don't like. Does he love the community or does he like the tickets he sells to the community? I don't know.
I mean,
like,
he knows his demographic. It could be both. Two things can be true.
there's a
Okay.
lot of fat people
I
with
like to
Volkswagens here.
I
Yeah,
like
they don't
to
have comedy
believe-
clubs in Delano, so
Hey, I love Fluffy. Fluffy is always welcome on this show, but
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I like to believe guys like him, Kevin Hart, they actually enjoy coming in, doing their stand up here.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy going to the outlets in Tulare. I like going and getting a Coach bag, but the fact that I'm in Tulare isn't the best thing. I don't know.
I'm honestly, since you brought it up, I am waiting for that venue to get open out there for the Hard Rock too, because that's going to be a game changer. Have
Hard
you not
Rock
heard that?
2? No, what's this?
The casino has a whole venue that's being built. You didn't know this?
Yeah.
Like attached here in Hard Rock or like in
Yeah.
Delano?
Yeah. No. The one
Not
that's
the-
down by the outlets, dude.
I-
Like the one that's just got built.
I'm broke as hell, guys, and my
Yeah.
car don't make it past the Grapevine. I stay in town.
Dude, go in there and sign up for the thing. You get a free $25 or something.
Oh,
You can
yeah,
actually go use it.
Yeah,
the
but I'm going to
machines.
spend $30 to get there because it's so freaking far away.
I was talking to a bartender last weekend, and she also works out at the casino, and she was telling me the horror stories of working at a casino.
Mm.
Not only because people will have $5 and sit on this machine for 5 hours and
Yep.
not tip her, not order drinks, not do anything, but she was telling me the financial side of working on an Indian reservation and the taxes they have to pay. Not only is, say she sells $2,000 worth of wings that night. Well, it comes out of her tips, and she has to pay taxes on the $2,000 that she sold, not the taxes of the hours she worked. So she's like, I worked 12 hours or 40 hours this week, and I brought home $500.
So that I've heard something similar to where like the people that deal the cards, like all the dealers and stuff, they make like $6 an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like
They split all of it with the card dealers, with the cooks, with everybody that works there.
Oh man. So if like everybody's having a bad night, I mean, if one person's having a bad night, potentially everybody could be having a bad night because they're not making as much tips. That's crazy. That's like a team sport in money.
Well, like I said, every time I come home, I smell like an old lady that chain smokes. She said I have to like take off the clothes, put them right in the washer, and I'm like, oh
yeah, that just sounds like a good Thursday after the
Right?
well. But yeah,
to be fair, you are
To be
working
fair,
at a place that's supposed to be, siphoning money out of people. So
It is a
literally,
casino.
literally.
Yeah.
I did go on Christmas with my wife. We went for like 20 minutes, just kind of check out what the
I went for
whole
Super
venue
Bowl.
was. And I dropped $10 in the machine, paid out $250. I was like, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your
I'm
winner
out.
right there. That's
out.
how I am too.
I've
It's
been
like,
hearing a lot of good stories about this too. I met some old Hispanic man at the mechanic shop the other day, and he had a cigarette in his mouth. He's like, "You got to go out to the Hard Rock." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I just put in $40 and made $1,000."
Yeah.
I'm like,
No, you want to go from this is what I've been told by people who go to casinos a lot. You want to go early when the casino is open because you want to be one of those big winners that they put up on billboards.
yeah.
That happens early, and then they just wait for years to redo it later on.
And she did say
No
that they're
way.
paying out a lot more now because they're
Yes.
pumping up people trying to get out there. So they turn up the machines to pay out more.
Yep.
So
Holy
once they
crap.
get everybody in there, then
Then
they
they
pull
turn
it
And
back.
they start pulling it back.
Is there really like a meter? Like,
yeah.
is there
No,
like
it's-
they have a control room and they're like, all right, hey, go put it for max bets. Or
all
whatever. They go
slot
like,
machines are adult video games. That's all they are. So why wouldn't there be a difficulty setting?
hey.
Just
I
saying.
didn't play Halo on the Master Chief level, okay?
Exactly.
Or whatever that
But
was.
see,
like,
you don't get to dictate how hard the game is. That's the point.
I used to play on easy mode. If easy mode at the casino is 7 a.m., then that's still going to be very hard for me to get up
Right.
early.
We grew
So,
up playing Nintendo
I've-
games where there wasn't a chance. You just played the hard games
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
never won.
You just lost in Mario 80 times. And
Yeah,
then threw your
Tyson
controller in the
punch
wall.
out. Thought
Yeah.
I was good until Tyson knocked me out in 2 seconds. I'm like, damn,
You have to know the code.
I
man.
did all this.
Yeah.
You got to know the code.
That's
I was
cheating, man. That's
yeah.
cheating.
I was just watching Ted 2. It's funny you bring that up. The scene in Ted 2 when he's talking about playing Punch Out. It's like, we're going to be fine as long as nobody does an uppercut.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, God.
So how is everything?
It's good.
How is everything with you, Anthony?
Everything's good. I have these days where I'm not doing comedy and I feel bad that I'm not doing comedy. And then I have a full weekend of comedy and then I feel good that I'm doing comedy. So it's been good. And it's been keeping my mind distracted of all the sports stuff that's going on, all the Miami Dolphins players leaving. I heard you guys lost Jalen Waddle.
We didn't lose him.
Oh, they got plenty
we got
for
paid.
him.
But and you're going to lose Achan
know-
too?
Probably.
You know what's funny about that Waddle trade,
I
though?
hope not, though, man.
Is that both sides think the other overpaid.
Really?
Yes. I keep seeing Miami fans saying, oh, they totally overpaid for Waddle. And then I keep seeing Denver fans saying, oh, really? That's all it took?
Yeah.
I'm like, all it took? You guys
Ve-
gave up a first, a third, and a fourth.
Their Vegas odds actually went down after that trade.
Yes,
Really?
it did.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because of why I like to see Jalen Waddle across from Cortland Sutton because Cortland Sutton, I don't know a lot about football, but I put this guy on my fantasy and he gets me some points.
Oh,
you know what
yes.
I mean, this guy's.
But see, that's
And
the
they
problem.
did mention that Sutton's not going anywhere.
That's good because again, for the story I saw weeks ago was that he was contemplating leaving, which would suck for Denver because he has been a stud for them.
Oh,
But that's the thing that I was just about to bring up when it comes to fantasy football. Now that they have a guy like Jalen there, Sutton's numbers are going to go down in fantasy.
Oh, 100%. He was like the only player, like
But
receiver.
him and Mims were solid, but Sutton was getting all of the
Yeah.
all
We'll
the
hear it
points.
from a real Broncos fan because we'll have a Pitzer in next week before their big
Yep.
10-year anniversary out at Dionysus. But man, it is sad as a Dolphin fan. It's always been sad, but I mean, it's sad to lose a player like that. You know,
Yeah.
with Waddle,
one of
even
your
with
key stars.
Tyreek, that was, give or take. We've gone through 100 number
Right.
one receivers, and it's rental, and the drama was just too much, I think. And coming in with the new regime, they're actually doing a rebuild the right way. They're getting rid of all these major contracts that this GM thought he was going to buy a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We're going to go young. We're going to go fast. And 7 draft picks in the first 3 rounds. I'll take it. But everybody knows at the end of the day what they're doing. They're trying to get a top 5 pick for next year's draft. And that's when the salary cap will get recapped because we're paying Tua. We're paying all these guys.
You said everybody knows that. I'm not a big. I didn't know that. Is that what they're doing?
Everyone
Is there? Are they really tanking?
Look, it's not tanking. It's just starting young.
It's strategic sucking.
Yes,
that's what it is.
We know we're not going to win the division. We know we're not going to win that division.
I had a girlfriend do that.
I mean, get rid of the GM that had 7 players getting overpaid.
You are wrong for that.
It
No, you're
is.
absolutely right. And
she's listening.
We were talking about that earlier too.
She won Condor's tickets this last segment.
We were talking about that earlier too. The idea that Miami's okay with maybe winning 5 games next season.
We know we're going to beat the Jets twice.
I still say y'all should make a move for somebody. Give Malik someone to throw.
I'm sure they will.
AJ.
But I mean, the 7 draft picks, they're going to get a couple receivers.
But is what going to happen though? Is Malik going to play bad after this year because he has nothing around him? And then they're like, all right, Malik, get out of here. We're going to get Archie Manning. Like, is he going to be something like that?
I think they'll keep him for next year. And I mean, hopefully, if he comes out, wins 6 games, and right now he doesn't have anybody.
Right.
But after this draft, I'm sure, and they've been talking about bringing in, Joku. They've talked about bringing in Debo, which I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think they're really going to go young with these rookie receivers, and I think they're just going to start from the bottom. And next year, I believe we get $70-something million back.
Yeah.
Because we're paying $175 million in dead money of players that aren't on the team anymore.
That's the problem.
And that's what you do when you're recapping from a GM that was overpaying everyone.
$175 million to not play on your team.
Greer learned a very valuable lesson in football. It's not baseball. You can't buy a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not the Dodgers.
It's not. It doesn't work that way. And honestly, if you're right and they're okay with a 5-6 win season next year, I don't think Malik's going anywhere. I don't think he could have the worst statistical season for a quarterback ever, and I think they'd still probably keep him on the roster just solely because they could sit there and say, "Well, we have a backup."
Still better than the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Have you seen all the defensive signings they made, dude? I don't know. I don't know if he can handle that.
It doesn't matter.
Who's their quarterback?
How many interceptions did they have last year?
Who is their quarterback? Who is really their quarterback?
At this point right now, it's probably going to be Garrett Nussmeier. How much you want to bet? It's either Garrett Nussmeier or Ty Simpson because it isn't anybody. And they traded away Justin, and Justin's probably going to have a resurgence this year too with the Chiefs. How much you want to bet? I put money down right now. If he plays and starts the first 3 games of the season, we're going to be seeing the Justin Fields we saw in Pittsburgh that everybody was in love with.
Kenneth Walker.
He's just bad though. I feel like, and I'm not just saying that because of the Packers Bears thing, but I feel like Fields is just bad. Right?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't throw.
Yeah, I've never seen. Yeah, right. Like he can run, but
here's the thing though, because someone brought this up to me and I didn't consider it until it was actually brought to my attention. Look what Andy Reid did to Michael Vick. Look how Andy Reid
sent him to jail. I don't know.
No. This was afterwards.
Oh.
Andy was on the Philadelphia Eagles as the head coach when Michael Vick came out of prison and started again. It's pretty much the same skill set. You might as well let him run it just the way he ran Michael Vick in Philly. It would make sense.
So you think that because of the past experience with Michael Vick, that Justin
he likes
Fields...
the skill set and it's going to work out?
What's the skill set?
A quick runner that has a pretty solid arm that just needs some accuracy help.
That was Michael Vick.
Absolutely, that was Michael Vick in Atlanta.
Listen, I wasn't around for that era, guys. I was a little wee boy. All right,
wee little boy.
Actually, Burdick and I are the same age.
Exactly, and I grew up in this era, so I know you were there.
Right. I don't remember the specifics, but I do remember some dogs. And then
little boy was a T.
The dogs are part of it, but we moved on from that.
I guess I didn't think of that. Like he has a past experience, but it is 20 years later. So I mean,
True.
like,
again, I'm not sitting here saying Justin Fields is Michael Vick. That's
Sure.
not what I'm comparing, but I'm saying the skill sets are similar, and all you need is a guy to fill in for Patrick for what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
because he's not coming back week 1. If he comes back week 1, I want him tested because there's no way.
I know you're a Packers fan.
Don't let the Baltimore Ravens doctor do the testing.
Yeah, I know you're a Packers fan. I know there's also, they need a receiver too. I believe they traded Dobbs.
No,
whatever his name is.
he was a free agent.
He's
He
gone, but he's in New England wearing Rob Gronkowski's number.
Oh,
and
87.
everyone's
yeah,
flipping out about it.
Yeah. Well, that was his number over at in Green Bay, and then everyone that was on with Jordy Nelson was like, "What the? Why is he wearing this number? What the hell?" I think similarly because you're bringing up Andy Reid and Michael Vick. Apparently, the Packers are looking into bringing Anthony Richardson as a backup quarterback.
Why not?
Well,
learn from a quarterback guru for a couple of years.
He's terrible though.
But you don't. That's the thing. You don't need him as a starter.
Yeah.
So unless you're planning on Jordan getting hurt, which I don't think anybody is planning on their star quarterback going down during the season.
No, I don't think anybody started planning on that. But I mean, like, there's just like this backup thing is just like they don't throw the ball, they just run and they're fast. Like that's the thing. Like,
well, but see, here's the thing, and maybe that's the case too. Much like you were saying with the comparison to Andy Reid and Justin Fields. Maybe they just see something in this kid's skill set that reminds them of Malik Willis that they can kind of help tool and run with.
Raw player with extreme talent and no skill or no accuracy.
No accuracy is better. Yeah.
Remember when Anthony Richardson did that whole tap out thing?
Well, that's the thing.
Get me out.
Anthony's problem is the motor. That's exactly right. Anthony's problem is that he has no.
Anytime he does bad, I just remember he recorded a music video outside a gas station, and I feel like other people have other passions.
But again. I don't know. I just constantly remember that play where he's running away from defenders, stops on one leg, and throws a 75-yard bomb.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, this kid clearly can play the quarterback position. We just got to get the right coach to actually teach him how to do it.
We just had a caller calling and said, did Burdick just put Vic and Justin Fields in the same conversation?
Again, not saying clearly you didn't hear the second part of the conversation. I'm saying skill set wise, they are similar. I'm not saying Michael Vick and Justin Fields are
black
equal.
And they run.
Thank you, Sparky, for saying that.
First and foremost, no. Secondly, if you look at how Justin plays,
that's true. Technically,
if you look how Justin plays, very run first, a great arm, but he has accuracy issues. That was Michael Vick in the Atlanta era. That was exactly what it was. If he didn't have his feet, Michael would have been questioned too.
Oh, yeah.
So don't sit there and tell me, did he really? Yes. Yes, I did.
I gave him some Condor tickets too. So.
Absolutely. You should get some Condor tickets for that. But again, I'm just saying in general, not saying that Justin is as good as Michael in any way, shape, or form. Michael is way better, but I'm just saying the skill sets can be seen as similar.
Well, back to tennis. Have you been out to the tennis open at all? Because I want to stop by there today. Thank God, March Madness, no money wise today or tomorrow. I'm thinking about stopping by at least and picking up some lunch or something to eat. I heard the Bentley Bros are out there. I've been wanting to try that. So.
Listen, dude, I love the racket club, dog. I love the racket club, and I say that as a tennis player. But and I know they're your homies, so I'm gonna watch what I say here. Listen. I love the racket club, but anytime I go there, people look at me like, "What are you doing here, dude?" And I don't know if it's because I'm fat, because I shouldn't be playing tennis, or because I'm Mexican. No, but I just haven't made it out yet. More so because, dude, they're just too good, and I'm working during the day, so I can't make it out there. But but I you know. Tennis is one of those things where I don't know if our friend Chris Flail, he posted this reel that is still getting numbers. And it's basically like comparing the people that make noise during basketball versus the people that make noise during a tennis match, and there's some big arguments behind it, because when you go to a tennis match, it's dead silent. But when you go to a basketball game, it's a lot of noise. So how come we can't make that kind of noise at a tennis match? I want to go to the BRC and Biggest Racket Club and root them on, and maybe heckle, woo, throw a drink at them, tell them to get out of my city.
Are we trying to get the garbage pail here of tennis? What's happening?
I want the same in golf.
No, right? No,
they have that in golf.
I've seen it.
Heckle golf. Oh, they have.
They have that in golf. That's exactly what I was just about to bring up. Like golf's done it, so tennis could technically make
like something. A heckle hole. They're like hole 16 is like where all
put you in a cage so you can't throw things, but you can still yell and scream.
That's the thing. That's where I draw the lines. Like, that's not throw beers, but I mean heckle. laugh at them. Absolutely, why not?
Speaking of tennis, I played Garces, your school, growing up. But I don't. Did you guys played at BC? Didn't you? Like,
yeah, for the vast majority. No, actually, the entirety of me being.
and
there,
then
we
they
were at
got
BC.
tennis, and then they got tennis
right
court.
after I left. Yeah.
So when Foothill played Garces at BC, this is why there should be sound at tennis games. I remember playing a guy in singles, and I went to hit the ball, and I farted. And this guy had his entire family in the bleachers, which were right next to the court. And that's the only school that had bleachers like that because they were playing at BC. I'll still never forget that.
They heckled you.
Well, I heckled myself, really.
Right.
I called the hindrance on myself.
Do you remember what number you were? Because I mean, they
I
was
was
all
bad,
ranked.
dog. I don't
You and
even
me
know if I
both. That's
should
why
say
I'm
it.
wondering if we actually played against each other. I would not doubt it if that was my family.
You were JV or varsity?
Both.
Okay, so
You played JV at one point. You moved up to varsity. What are you talking about?
Well, some people are like, yeah, I started my senior year. I was just on JV. No, I was on JV freshman year and then varsity the sophomore through senior year. But I was probably like number 4 through number 6.
No, you were way better than me. I was like literally
No.
12 of 12.
Here's the thing, guys. Tennis is different. Where like a good school like Garces, the number 9 player on Garces is like the number 2 player at Foothill. That's how good they are because Foothill. I mean, we were crap, dude. We were really bad.
Well, I went to Ridgeview and we didn't have enough to play. So
yeah, you guys were playing out there stickball or something.
We never got to play Ridgeview.
We didn't have a team when I played. They didn't get that. I mean, we were just starting to put a team together for football.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that school started in the 90s, right?
Our freshman year played JV and varsity because we didn't have enough at the time.
Just did
we didn't have seniors that first year, so
that's sad. Now they're one of the best Pop Warner
which is awesome
feeders too.
Rodney Leslie, when I went there, he was an offensive line. You could see him. He looked like Brock Lesnar in elementary school. I'm like, oh, there's the big guy. He was our offensive lineman. He ended up going and playing with the Saints and some other teams.
No way.
Yeah, he was our highlights. And Philip DeMatre was our pitcher. He ended up playing for several teams. But we
had Joey Porter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Crickets.
You're one.
Silence.
Well, because Joey always made me laugh, dude. Because he went to Foothill. You're right, but I saw him at every Garces event. Like he would always show up.
He knew where the money was at.
He picked up them hoes.
And I would always look at him and say, "Dude, why don't you just come here? Like, you might as well just come here."
So back to comedy.
Yeah.
Open mic tonight. Doors 6.
Doors 607. Dude, honestly, the last week's show was freaking awesome. The open mic was really fun. 30 comedians, 3 minutes each.
Was Friday the 13th last week?
Friday the 13th was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, it was, dude. That one was also fun.
Who won Thursday?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Perfect. He doesn't even live here, so I'll talk crap.
Oh,
This dude from Fresno came out. I don't know how to say his name. This dude from Fresno came out. New comedian. I didn't know that because I announced it on the open mic. I'm like, yo, best of the night gets to spawn the show.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude came up and he had like 3 minutes of really tight jokes. It was killing it. Everyone laughed. And I was like, oh, dude, this dude's got it. I checked his Instagram. He had like 80 followers. And it sees it as a comic. I'm like, oh, this dude just started. He's like within the first year. Like he's very new.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really excited to have him on. And then like 30 seconds into his set, I'm like, what did I do? Like he just did not.
Did he bomb the next night?
He did terrible, like so bad. And like we were doing this thing where each comic was introducing the next comic.
Was he just not prepared, or was it just a bad set?
Dude, it's just this is what happens when you everything.
Well, you've talked about it over the year, that sometimes you go out there. We've talked to comedians that the first time they killed it, and then they bomb for the next month.
Well, I mean,
and it's a different crowd, different circumstance.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Natalie just brought it up. Really, you just got to find your audience, and maybe that just wasn't his.
No, yeah, you got to find your audience, and when you're at our level, where you'll take any audience that is put in front of you, whether they're your fans or not. Like, not everyone's gonna mess with you. Not everyone's gonna like how you are. And this dude, like, he would do this thing where he told a joke, and he'd stop and he'd go.
Oh, no.
And then go into another one, and then they didn't get any laughs. And I'm like, you can't laugh at your. But then I remember, dude. I remember it was like my 7th month into comedy. Someone was like, "Yo, dude, you're killing it." From Tulare, my friend Jeremiah Nation was like, "Anthony, you're killing it. I recommended you for this show with this big radio guy from Fresno, and I know you're gonna kill it." And I was like, "Thanks, dude." And I went out. It just
bombed.
I wish I could say the word on here. I did a grape joke, and it was like, but a clever one. It's just like
you have any grapes? Sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
gosh.
That's the
Got
only
any
grape
grapes?
joke I know.
But not grape. It was like,
Yo, know that joke? Duck walks into a bar, looks at the bartender, got any grapes? No?
put it on my
never
bill.
mind. Yeah, put it on the bill. Exactly.
But I get it, dude. That's why I shook his hand. I was like, "Thanks for coming out, dude. I'm not gonna hold it against him because
Yeah.
like this is how we all learn. Like
It's part of
you
growth.
go and that's why it's like it was a short set. It wasn't like crazy. The stakes weren't too high, and that was it. So it was I learned a lot, but also I was fine with it because I was like, hey, they're not all gonna hit, but this guy won set of the night, and you know I've been in this position, and you're not gonna get them all, but. It just looked like it was his first big show, and he just needed to get more reps in.
Right.
But he'll be fine.
That was one of the things, like you were saying, he does the little laugh, and that is now his trademark, I'm sure. Because next time, I remember that guy. And I get, I have 8 or 9 MoneyWise guys that rotate during our show, and some of them are new to doing radio, and they get into their niche. And I've had to talk to a couple of them because they'll have that. I don't know if it's a nervous like tick type thing, but some of them you'll have to talk to off the air and be like, hey, you're doing great. You're growing, blah, 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 blah. But hey, stop doing or whatever they have their tick. So, I mean, I'm sure it's the same thing in comedy, but we talked to Natalie Cuomo. She'll be performing Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
I was hoping to see you Friday because I haven't got to see you on stage for a while.
No, you haven't.
But you're doing so well. You're headlining a show on Friday. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I'm headlining. I'm doing 20 minutes in Clovis. It's a spot that I've been to a couple times, but it's always fun out there. I'm grateful that I get to do longer sets in another city.
Oh yeah.
I maybe I'm not headlining here, but maybe one day I will, and one day I will, and I just got to get practice and reps in, so that's what I'm looking forward to. And then I'm glad I get to do that. Do 20 minutes, 25 minutes in Fresno, and then Saturday I'm hosting Natalie Cuomo, so I get to do like my best material, and I get to open up the show. So which is usually the hardest spot, especially hosting at the club here in town, but it'll be a good challenge. And come check it out, man. Natalie's funny, and
I'm gonna have to talk to Ghostface. Maybe we'll move the Friday to Saturday.
Hey,
we gotta go see Anthony, dude.
I'm just
support that
hey,
boy.
I have a new actually I can't say it on the air, but I have a new joke that's very dirty.
Have you seen Natalie before? Have you seen Natalie before?
On YouTube and Instagram,
on Comedy Wise.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen her.
I've seen her on Ink Master, so I didn't know she did comedy until yesterday.
Yeah, I've honestly, before she even blew up, I knew who she was because she was dating a pretty famous comedian in New York, and I'd watched the podcast and she'd make guest appearances on it. So I've been following her for a minute, and then all of a sudden she just blew up and has like over 1 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah,
and
insane.
And funny story about that off air, but I'll tell you guys.
So while we wrap up, what time do they show up at the Well tonight?
Hey, doors open at 6, show starts at 7. It's a free ticket, but there's a 2-item minimum. It's still a good time. And then Friday and Saturday, of course, Saturday at Natalie Cuomo at the Well Comedy Club. And if you want to see more of my comedy, I'll be in Clovis Friday night, Fresno, and then Saturday again. Hopefully I'll see you guys maybe there at the Well. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend. We always appreciate your time. We got to take a break. We got Bolt Brady on the other side, break down your brackets for you, and hopefully make you some money.
You playing brackets?
I tried to ask him
if
that.
I'm invited.
Nothing.
I tried. It's the first question I asked him is, "Are you watching March Madness?" He's like, "Oh, that started." I was like, "Oh God."
I was like, "Oh, it is March."
I get it.
Never mind.
It ends in April, so I don't get it.
Absolutely. We got to get out of here. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. March Madness has begun. Got 25 pages, 25 of notes for these games today. We got 16 of them today and tomorrow, so we got to call and talk to our guy Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady and his bro at the BLEAV Network. Get all of his picks for the first round and upsets and whatnot to look out for. Sir, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I mean, is this Christmas for sports fans or what?
Oh, I've been saying the same thing, my friend. It's the perfect time. We have the WBC finish up. Unfortunately, Team USA doesn't come out the winner, but it is what it is. It was good baseball. Baseball starts up here in about a week. We got March Madness right now. Hockey is hitting its peak.
NBA playoffs right around the corner.
around the corner. It's going to be fun.
and my Dolphins are trading everyone, so it's this time.
Yeah, that's true too. That's very true too. Let's start with the March Madness tournament, my friend. Who are you looking at as the biggest chance of getting upset today?
Well, or coming up out of one of the big names, I think, like as far as a Cinderella, maybe Cal Baptist against Kansas.
Yeah, see, we were talking about the very same thing, just the stories around Kansas this year, all of the discrepancy with Peterson. I mean, do you think this team's going to be able to at least put it together enough to get past the first round? Or is it really Cal Baptist's chance here to pull something off?
Well, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of friction going on there between the team, but they also, Cal Baptist has got Dominique Daniels, who's a guard, and we talked about how important guard play is. And he's actually fifth in the nation. He scores 23 points a game. And then Cal Baptist ranks in the top 35 in the nation for defensive rebounds. They hold teams to 67 points. So why not? Let's see what happens.
So when you were looking over your bracket and looking at these matchups, what is the main thing that you're looking for when you're looking for a winner? Are you looking for defensive efficiency, offensive efficiency? Like what I know you say guard play and coaching obviously goes far in terms of how far you can go in the tournament. But when it comes to avoiding being a first round upset, what do you kind of look for?
Probably momentum coming into the tournament. I mean, you know, sometimes these teams are limping in and they've lost like 3 or 4 in a row. And those are usually teams I want to stay away from.
Same. That's why I usually like to look at the last week or so. I don't count the conference tournament as much, though. I don't know if you do. I feel like that's kind of an outlier most of the time. But
agree.
Do you think that there's any team that is coming in pretty dang hot that might be a surprise to some people?
Well, geez, Miami of Ohio last night, right? I think they kind of made a statement last night.
They turned me around on them, at least. I didn't have a lot of faith in them coming into this tournament. I still don't know if they get past Tennessee, but I liked what I saw. And I mean, if you're going to jack up 43s in the first quarter or the first half, mind you, you might as well make 20 of them.
Well, so that's the thing that people need to watch for too, right? Is that's when the upsets can happen, is if there's a team that gets hot, and so they can shoot themselves out of the game, or they can shoot themselves in the game with the 3-pointer. One of the stats that I like to look at as well.
Fantastic. I'm gonna throw a couple games at you that they don't pass the smell test to me, and I want you to kind of like let me know if I'm crazy or not. Okay. I keep hearing BYU is someone to look out for, and obviously they have Texas first. How do you like them going into today?
Yeah, I'm not scared of BYU. They've lost one of their best players early in the season. That didn't help. An outside shooter, and I know everyone talks about AJ this and that, and he obviously has a lot of talent, but he jacks up a lot of shots, you know, and so I'm just not big on players that shoot the ball a lot. I'm not scared of BYU at all.
No. Okay. That's an interesting one. Because again, a lot of people that I hear say that AJ is good enough to at least get them to the 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if he does that, I'm wrong. I will admit I'm wrong.
The other game that I was looking at, and I know this is a long shot to be a Cinderella story here, but for some reason, this game just doesn't pass the smell test to me. And that's Arkansas and Hawaii. I, for some reason, feel like the defense of Hawaii might be enough to at least give Calipari's team a little bit of trouble here. What say you?
Well, I heard you say that a little bit earlier this morning on the radio. Well, I hope Arkansas wins the game at least, because I have them in my survivor pick. So that'd be a problem for me. But but I see where you're coming from. Calipari actually does not have the best record in these first games, believe it or not. And so that is one thing that's in your favor.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that part of it. I thought John was pretty well known to be successful in the tournament.
I remember when he was at Kentucky, they were a very high seed and they got knocked out in the first round.
That's true. I forget about that. I mean, we forget that Kentucky was so talented, but they didn't go the way everybody wanted them to.
Right.
And there was somebody else that I was looking at too, and I can't remember if the game is today or tomorrow, but there's a team that has not won a tournament game at all and is a pretty high seed. I want to say it was either Wisconsin or
Nebraska.
Yep. How do you think they'll fare?
So I like Nebraska. So they've been playing basketball. what you're referencing, if they've been playing basketball for 130 years, excuse me, 130 years, and they've never won a tournament game.
Jeez.
So they're actually their coach. The coach's son is actually the point guard. And they're actually good. I like Nebraska. I think they can actually win not only one game, but two.
So they're going to probably pull it off against Troy, you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Second or third game today, if I'm not mistaken. And shoot, if it's been that long, I think they're kind of overdue, wouldn't you think?
Oh, yeah.
The levy's going to break.
They are. This is actually like the first 16 games that the teams are double-digit favorites in all those games. The first four seeds, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's never happened before. And so what they're basically saying is, the chalk, the favorites are supposed to dominate. We'll see.
We've been talking about that all morning, the discrepancy when it comes just the money and NIL that these teams make and how it's kind of created this Cinderella-less March Madness idea. Do you think that that's actually coming? Do you think that most of these teams are just going to get so good that we're not going to see a Cinderella anymore?
Well, yeah, my brother and I were talking about this too. This is actually the first year that I probably have more chalk than I normally do. And so I do think it is going that way. As we mentioned, that the mid-majors, their best players just get plucked each year.
And that's my issue with it is usually when you see one of these mid-major schools come into the March Madness tournament and have an incredible start or knock out one of these teams they're not supposed to, the best player on that team is automatically just going to sign with whatever team they just knocked out because that coach is going to do nothing but recruit that player.
Right.
So,
I mean, the guy from Michigan that came from UAB, he was talking about how Kentucky was offering him like $7 to $9 million to leave.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like it really just became a recruitment tournament in a way. Like all of these big schools now are just looking at these mid-majors as, okay, you're a feeder league for us. So who's your best player?
Right.
Like how much can we pay them that you can't? So that's the weird thing. What's your Final Four as it sits right now? Is this the same thing you told us last week?
Well, so I've got Michigan and I got Houston, Michigan, UConn, and Arizona.
Nice. I keep hearing people put some doubt behind Dan Hurley right now because of the way they ended the season. How do you feel?
No, Dan actually, his last 20 games in the tournament, he's actually 17-3 against the spread.
Ooh.
He's solid.
Okay, fantastic. And then are any locks in terms of bets that you're looking at for today?
Well, I do like, we talked about the Arkansas-Hawaii game. I
Yes.
do like the under in that game, 158.5. And then I do think Louisville takes care of business today with South Florida. And then as far as tomorrow, guys, Santa Clara getting points versus Kentucky. That's probably not on most people's radar, but I like Santa Clara there. And then Prairie View plays Florida. They're getting 35.5 points. It's the most points a team is getting in the tournament since 1999. And let's take Prairie View there and see what happens.
There's no way Florida beats them by 35, right? Like,
it's a lot. That's a lot. And Prairie View, they're not the fastest team in the nation.
No. When's the last time a team has lost that bad though in the tournament?
I don't know, but it's since 1999. Duke was a 45-point favorite in 1999.
Wow, that's massive. Again, I wonder who the heck they were playing that year, but that's just absolutely incredible. Any other bets we got before we got to let you go?
I think that's it, guys. I got Houston winning it all. I was talking to Sparky. 29% of people Actually, they're taking Duke to win it all.
I saw that. I saw it was really heavy Duke. I saw about 20% for Arizona.
Yeah.
And then it's a mixed bag after that.
Yep.
So,
So we're going with Houston here.
Okay. I might have to change my pick because I'm telling you, I said it earlier in the show, but I don't like it when I see all the pundits picking one team.
Yeah.
And when I see everybody picking Arizona, that just makes me
That's what made me
cringe.
nervous, man. And I like the Houston pick because I was going back and forth with Houston or Michigan.
Mhm.
And I think he just pushed me over the ledge. I think I'm going to do it.
I will say my final is Houston, Arizona. So all I have to do is change on the winner there. But I will gladly take Houston over Arizona if everybody's kind of on the same boat here.
You got 30 minutes, so you better hurry.
You better
I know. I
jump
got it
on
on
it.
my phone. I got it. We're good. Trust me. No issues whatsoever. Sir, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you as always. We will talk to you next week.
Take care, fellas.
Let's take a break real quick. On the other side, we'll get to some of the fun stories before we get out of here, and we'll get you ready for our show tomorrow, which will be another guest-filled show. I believe Jermon will be joining us
Yes,
from
sir.
559. My boy Joshua will be joining us as well. The
And
metal
Flail
artist.
Friday.
And Flail Friday, of course. We'll take a break. We'll get to it on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. back. Final segment of the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Excuse me. Sparky bought donuts this morning. He expects me not to eat one.
Somebody's
On
eating
the
them.
air. All this stuff. Eat it all back. Join us tomorrow, 7 to 9, for a Flail Friday. As always, we love talking to our guy Chris Flail
My
about
boy
all things.
Germ.
Yes, we'll have Germ, Tabota. I always want to call him Tabolata because obviously that's how it's spelt, but it's Tabota. German will be joining us ahead of his fight in the 559 fights. We were supposed to talk to German yesterday, but things happen. You know, we understand. We're a morning show, so sometimes things get miscued or schedules get mixed. And then we'll also talk to my guy Joshua for gosh dang, I should not have taken a bite of that donut. I apologize. Masquerade of a Poet. My friend who was in here is a new metal artist, just dropped a couple new songs. They're all fantastic. We'll play one for you tomorrow as well. And if you're a fan, feel free to reach out on Spotify. I know he dropped them on there. I don't know if he's dropped the entire album yet. I know it's coming, but he'll tell you all those details tomorrow as well. There's a couple stories I wanted to get to before we get out of here, though. And this first one I want to present to you, Sparky, and see how you feel. Jack Hughes, the legend of U.S. ice hockey now, the man who scored the golden goal for us to beat Canada, has come out and criticized a lot of people because he's not being given his puck. The Hockey Hall of Fame is refusing to give not only Jack his, but Megan Keller hers as well, claiming that it's not theirs to begin with, that the IIHF, the International Ice Hockey Federation, is the people who are responsible for grabbing all this memorabilia, getting it authenticated and all that type of stuff. And then it's immediately sent to the Hockey Hall of Fame, where it is put as part of their permanent collection. Jack just wanted the puck so he can give it to his dad, who is a memorabilia collector for his sons, mind you. I am on Jack Hughes' side here. I think it's kind of ridiculous that we can't give this to them. It is a piece of hockey history, I grant you, but it's also their history. It's their legacy. And Jack Hughes specifically is a guy who really hasn't had the illustrious career so far that everybody was hoping he would. This is definitely the biggest moment of his hockey life. And he just wants to give it to his dad. It's a sentimental thing for the family. I don't understand why we can't make an exception.
That's tough, man. When you get into memorabilia stuff,
and you're the memorabilia guy, man.
I personally understand both sides of it. Obviously, he wants it, but I'm sure he's got, he's got his jersey, he's got his skates, he's got everything else. So I can understand each side, and I'm sure there is something in the contract. Because memorabilia, it's a crazy, very, very expensive world to be in. I personally, as a fan, I think you should have it. But as a collector, I understand why this board or whatever, they've already got it up in a Hall of Fame type deal. So I understand. And I'm sure they'll work out a deal. Maybe you trade the jersey and maybe trade the skates and get him the puck.
It's like, why can't we figure out a deal here? Why
I'm sure there will be.
And I'm sure dad's got the jersey hung up. So give them the stick. Or, give them something else that's part of the game. Maybe trade the puck for the jersey, like you're saying.
We've seen it over the years. Yeah.
Like, I don't think people are going to care what piece of memorabilia is in the Hall of Fame as long as it's represented.
Yeah, they just want something.
So I say, and if Megan wants hers too, because it doesn't really say if Megan's been outwardly, trying to get it either. Jack's really the one that's pushing for it. But he does say that him and Megan both should be getting it. I'm in the fan category. I don't see why we can't just make this happen. I don't get it. Give him the stick you used or the jersey, something to represent you. Give them the golden puck. Let the puck go to dad. Everybody wins. No harm, no foul.
I wanted to bring up something, but we don't have time. I'll wait till Flail tomorrow. But did you see Caruso trying to get a block with the shoe?
I did, and I meant to bring this up too. That's innovation right there, baby. That's white boy basketball.
And a big technical.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. But we'll get into that with our guy Chris Phil tomorrow. And the new CBA rules. I did print them out for the WNBA. So we'll break down what this new CBA deal looks like for all of these women and the money they will be getting from the league. But until tomorrow, join us 7 to 9 a.m. Me and Sparky, we got to get out of here.